Alongside Black Swan and Imbibitor Lunae, Misha is a new 4-star available on their banners. Misha is a character from the Ice element who follows the path of destruction. And no, he's not a Jingliu copy. He has a playstyle focused on freezing the enemy, but also dealing decent damage. And I can see him being a must for those who want to clear simulated universe quick using the Path of Remembrance. If you haven't already, like this video because it really motivates me a lot. 97% of you are not subscribed. Please do us all a favor and sub. Trust me, cool animation will happen if you do it. I will call my boy Misha to go into your hotel room and tell you to do it right now. As you guys have noticed, I started uploading more videos, and your support from that side is what motivates me the most. If you guys want to support me even more with the symbolical help, you can always become a member. I recommend you activating the bell for you to be notified when I post a video here, and just like always, my links are on the description for anyone interested. Without any furthers, let's now explain Misha's kit. Misha is a 4-star character from the Ice element who follows the path of destruction, and focus on being a DPS that will prevent the enemy to play thanks to his freezes. On his basic attack, excuse me please, Misha deals ice damage equal to a percentage of his attack to a single target enemy. This attack is nothing special, so just use it if you need skill points. When you use his skill room service, Misha consumes a skill point to deal ice damage equal to a percentage of his attack to one enemy and up to 2 more adjacent enemies. In addition, it will give you 1 extra stack for your ultimate. His ultimate gonna be late. I'm sorry guys, it's not my fault, I'm not stuttering or anything, it's really written like that. I don't know why my man is stuttering every time he speaks. His ultimate deals ice damage to a single enemy, and the rest of the hits will bounce among enemies 3 times by default and up to a maximum of 10 times. And before each hit lands, there is a minor chance to freeze your target. Since your ultimate damage will most likely depend on the number of stacks you gathered, you should always use your skill since it provides 1 stack. With his talent or a logical escapement, when any ally consumes 1 skill point, it will provide Misha 1 stack for his ultimate and also regenerate energy for him. And for last, when you use his technique, wait, you are so beautiful, you will create a dimension that lasts for 15 seconds and that stops enemies within. And after entering battle against enemies within the dimension, Misha will get 2 stacks for his ultimate. On his minor traces, Misha will get a total of 22.5 defense, 22.4 ice damage bonus, and will also get 6.7 crit rate. And now, it's time for his major traces, because they will help your Misha with the freeze and with self buffs. With his first ascension trace, Release, before the ultimate's first hit lands, increases the base chance of freezing the target by 80%. With his second trace, Interlock, when using the ultimate, increases the effective rate by 60%, lasting until the end of the ultimate's current action. And for last, on his third ascension trace, Transmission, when dealing damage to frozen enemies, increases crit damage by 30%. For his trace priorities, focus on his burst first, because most of the damage and buffs will come from it, then his skill for the extra damage, and for last, his talent and normal attacks simultaneously. Now, let's talk about Misha Eidolons, for those who will end up getting some copies. On his E1, when using the ultimate, for every enemy on the field, additionally increases the stacks of the ultimate by 1, up to a maximum increase of 5. With his E2, before each hit of the ultimate lands, there is a 24% base chance of reducing the target's defense by 16% for 3 turns. His E3 will increase the level of his ultimate by 2 and the level of his basic attack by 1. With his E4, you will be increasing the damage multiplier for each hit of your ultimate by 6%. His E5 will increase the level of his skill and talent by 2, and for last, on his E6, when using the ultimate, increases his own damage by 30%, lasting until the end of the turn. In addition, the next time the skill is used, recovers 1 skill point for the team. It's finally time to talk about the best relic sets that you will want to use for your Misha. His best insult set will be, in my opinion, 4-piece Hunter of the Glacial Forest. On the 2-piece, it will increase your ice damage by 10%, and on the 4-piece, after you use your ultimate, your crit damage will be increased by 25% for 2 turns. Since most of his buffs will come from the ultimate, this set in my opinion also synergizes well with him. Just like any other DPS, 4-piece Genius of Brilliant Stars will be a good pick for him. Even though you will not utilize the 2-piece bonus of extra 10% quantum damage, you will use the 4-piece passive of ignoring 10% of the defense and up to 20% if the enemy has a quantum weakness. Since being frozen counts as a debuff, you can use the new set that releases with this version, Pioneer Diver of Dead Waters. It will increase your damage dealt to enemies with debuffs by 12%, and on the 4-piece, you will get an extra 4% crit rate, and if you deal damage to enemies with 2 or 3 debuffs, your crit damage will be increased by 8 or 12%. Additionally, after you apply a debuff, the effects mentioned before will be doubled, so if you run Misha with another character that can add at least some debuffs, you will get 8% crit rate and 24% crit damage after you freeze an enemy with your burst. This technically can be his best in slot set if you manage to end up putting some debuffs with the other teammates. While you are still farming for one of these options, you can also mix and match two pieces between the sets that give attack percent, ice damage, or speed. For planetary ornament sets, his best in slot will be the Rootland Arena, which will increase your crit rate by 8%, and if you reach at least 70% crit rate, your basic attack and skill damage will be increased by 20%. If you want your ultimate to deal extra damage, Earth Cell Soto is also a good pick. It will provide you the same 8% crit rate, and if you reach at least 50% crit rate, your ultimate and follow-up damage will be increased by 15%. He will not utilize the follow-up attack buff, but he will utilize the ultimate buff. For his last option, if you manage to reach the speed thresholds, Glamoth. It will increase your attack by 12%, and if you reach 135 or 160 speed, you will deal more 12 or 18% damage. After knowing the best relics and ornament sets, let's now talk about the stats you will be looking for. For the body, crit will always be the best option. For the boots, speed, but if you reach at least 134 with substats and you are not losing Glamoth, you can use attack percent boots. For the sphere, ice damage bonus should be your focus, and for the rope, attack percent. For the substats, you should be looking for crits, speed, and attack percent. For Misha Lightcones, his best in slot will also be the best F2P Lightcone on the Fall on the Aeon, the one that you can get and superimpose for free on the Erta shop. On its passive, whenever the wearer attacks, their attack is increased by a percentage in this battle, up to 4 times. When the wearer inflicts a weakness break on enemies, the wearer's damage increases by a percentage for 2 turns. Clara's signature Lightcone, something irreplaceable, is also a good option for Misha. It increases the wearer's attack percent by a percentage, and when the wearer defeats an enemy or it's hit, immediately restores HP equal to a percentage of his attack. At the same time, the wearer's damage is increased by a percentage until the end of the next turn. This effect cannot stack and can only trigger 1 time per turn. So, if you end up having this Lightcone and you don't have anyone to use it for, you can actually put it on Misha. His best 4-star Lightcone will be Under the Blue Sky, because it will increase your attack by a percentage, and when you defeat an enemy, you will get your crit rate increased by a percentage for 3 turns. The new 4-star Lightcone available from the gacha system has Misha on the cover for a reason, because it also works well with him. It will increase your break effect by a percentage, and when you use your ultimate, your crit rate will be increased by a percentage for 2 turns. Even though you don't make really use of the break effect, the crit rate buff is super nice. And for last, the Mo's Welcome You can also be a good option, since it will increase your attack by a percentage every time you use a basic attack, skill, or ultimate to attack enemies. Since Misha's whole purpose is to spam his skill in order to build stacks for his ultimate, he will love teams where you will consume a lot of skill points. Thanks to all of this, these are some of my team suggestions. For a hypercarry Misha team, pair him with Tingyun, Runmei or Bronya and a sustainer. For a good F2P team, pair him with Tingyun, Pella and a sustainer. And for mono ice teams, for those who want to clear simulated universe quickly, pair him with Pella, Runmei and Gepard. These were just some examples of team comms you can do with your Misha. And if you have a team you think it's worth mentioning, feel free to leave it on the comments. After this guide, I hope you have a more understanding on how to build and play with the bellboy of the Reverie Hotel. If you liked the video and you like my content, don't forget to like this video. Your support is amazing and I'm so happy to have you from that side. You can also help me reducing those 97% non-subscribers and activating the bell for Misha to notify you when I post any videos. All my other socials are on the description for those who are interested. Tell me your opinion about Misha in the comments. Have you tested him? Do you think he's going to be good for Simulated Universe or also for the MOC? My name is DPhoenix and see you all in the next video. See ya!